French President Emmanuel Macron has told people to calm down after footage emerged of his wife appearing to push his face as they arrived in Vietnam. He said the couple were just joking around. So has the public's reaction been wrong, to be a bit shocked by him brushing this off? Is it anyone's business what's going on there?
Joining us now is Kate Smurthwaite, who is a comedian, a writer and an activist, and brand and culture expert Nick Ede. Well, very good morning to you both. Kate, is it any of our business? Obviously, it is incredibly public. It was on camera, and you wouldn't imagine any camera operator to not be filming at that point. And then, of course, those pictures are going to be broadcast.
And, I mean, of course, they should know better in the sense that, like... But, I mean, this happens all the time. He's somebody who's the camera constantly on him. And I'm sure you two have had the same thing, that, you know, it cuts to going live and you're like, oh, was I scratching my nose at that point?
OK,
like,
I've never pushed anyone in the face. but the thing is, that's the point, isn't it?
But I do think at the same time that we're looking at... 2 seconds of an incident, and we have none of the context, right? We have no idea whether they were arguing, whether they were joking around, or whether, whether there was some point to what she was saying. I mean, whether she was saying, you've got a mosquito on your face and I'm going to save you. We just don't know from the context of it.
Well, we do know because, we do know because the President said, my wife and I were squabbling. We were rather joking, and I was taken by surprise. So in those... It's strange, isn't it? Because he seems to be acknowledging two different things. They were having a fight and they were joking.
I think there's a difference between a squabble and a fight. I'm not saying it's nothing. I'm saying we just don't know from the context.
Right.
We can't... And to sort of extrapolate, I think that, in a way, does a bit of a disservice to victims of domestic violence, because to sort of look at 1 second and go, well, I think this is or it isn't. Yeah. The truth is that domestic violence often doesn't look like the cliché of domestic violence. It can often be... And, in fact, lots of perpetrators of domestic violence are very, very good at not being caught on camera and not being seen.
But that's why I think there's an issue here, is that actually this has been, as you say, like brushed under the carpet, and actually this could be very important. And for him to just say it was a bit of fun, it was a bit of play fighting, I think actually downplays something which is actually potentially quite important. You and I, as we just said, we don't know exactly what happened there. But, you know...
And it's a very serious allegation, of course, to make an allegation of domestic violence.
Completely.
And if it is play fighting, then to take it all terribly seriously would be a mistake.
Yeah.
And
I think the body language as well afterwards, that was very...
But again, you see, you're taking 1 second of stuff and going, well, I think based on this, based on that. Like, we don't know.
Sorry,
it's a second or two.
What do you mean about the body language afterwards?
Well, the body language afterwards, it didn't look like they were having a laugh. It didn't look like it was like a couple who were in love. And we know they're statespeople and they've got to look great. But, you know, when they're walking down those stairs, they did not look happy in any shape or form.
But are they not potentially? I mean, and again, because we're totally extrapolating from a millisecond, but they could have been thinking, oh, no, this is going to get us all on Good Morning Britain. Yes. That might have been the thought process. Oh, we need to have a chat about that later.
Okay, you are completely right. We don't know what happened.
We don't.
We can't judge what happened. We'll never know the detail. But the issue is the President of France, having been seen to be involved in an incident, which could have been that, he doesn't take it seriously and explain it. He says it's our fault, our reaction, calm down, it was just joking, you're making too big... a man downplaying what ostensibly could look like something which is violent.
It would be lovely if he also came out and said, look, domestic violence is a very serious issue.
Exactly.
That's not what was going on.
He's the President of France.
Sure, but it would be great if he... I mean, it would also be great if, at the same time, he also said, and, you know, let's take the international arms trade seriously and let's address this and let's do this and let's address climate change. There are lots and lots of very real
he has a responsibility.
issues out there. He's in Vietnam to talk about something else, and he made a quick statement saying, no, nothing untoward is going on.
Because he doesn't want to discuss it. Of course, nobody wants to discuss the private dynamics when you're trying to be on an international...
He's got no choice but to discuss it because of the incident.
Yeah, and also the thing is, he's going to be, you know, we don't want his legacy to be this. And his legacy at the moment are some rather strange things that happened in the last few weeks. And we're going to be seeing this on social media, you know, and he's leaving the presidency, I think, in the next 6 or 10 months or so. So that's kind of it for him, and it feels a bit sad, really.
Nick, the other question, of course, that everybody's asking is, what if it had been the other way round?
Well, that's, and again, as you highlighted that would be a huge furore. It wouldn't be swept under the carpet. It would. I mean, a lot of people be talking about it as a bigger way.
We've got 2 women a week being killed by their partners in the UK, 2 women a week. And it's not that it doesn't happen to men, but it's about 1 to 2 a year for men. And none of them seem to get on TV in quite the same way.
But are we holding?
You know, we're in this situation where one tiny second, which we don't know the context of, and which the people involved have said it's nothing, nothing's going on, that is getting a ton of coverage. And yet, women who are victims of domestic violence, we know that it's a 6-month wait to get into a shelter. And I would love it if this was an excuse for Macron, but also for all of us to talk about those issues, which are very, very real. But I also think that
I disagree with you about this. I think as the President of France, in that moment, once those pictures have happened, he had an opportunity to do the right thing, which was to take the issue seriously, and he chose
it's really
to make a joke of it, and that was a mistake.
From a brand point of view, from a PR point of view, it's extremely important for him to have taken this and actually owned it, and it feels like he didn't do that.
I feel like there's something very strange in saying this is an opportunity for him to talk about it. He's the President of France. He can talk about anything whenever he wants. He could, do you know what I mean? If he rang you up now, he'd be on this show in my seat, I wouldn't be here. He has absolutely the power to raise any issue. So I don't think that he has to go, well, this is the moment when he should talk about it. I think he should be talking about domestic violence because it's a real issue, and he should be talking about what we can do to end what is going on in Gaza. He should be talking about climate change. He should be talking about the international arms trade. He should be talking about all of that
The
stuff.
trouble is, the pictures mean that everybody's talking about this. But thank you both, Kate and Nick. Good to see you both this morning.